They say that a mother is only as happy as her unhappiest child. How many children do you have? Because that really is like, one of them is definitely going to be, well, not definitely, but unhappy. Oh, the more kids you have, the more likely one's going to be extremely unhappy at all times. So you're, as a mom, if this is the case, good luck. But at any rate, I'm thinking about ways, after learning about postural restoration and the fact that there's like, it's like a key. What's like a code, a secret little things that we can do. There's buttons and levers in our body that can unclench a muscle or whatever out of nowhere. Like people are like, no, you got to stretch it out. Or no, it's because up here, the sympathetic, they say parasympathetic nervous system. I don't know all the right words, but the nervous system that operates all by itself without you thinking about it. That's what gets tripped into being in, fight, flight, clench, hold this stiff position, on guard. And what I've noticed, finally, after 56 years, is it'll slip from normal mode, which is everything's fine, to, oh my God, it's a 10, whatever alarm, I don't know. A 10 fire truck kind of situation, without even knowing that your nervous system decided just suddenly whatever the stimulus was to be like, and then you're like, God darn, you're trying to talk to people and move through the world without distressing others, but your energy's just flying around. Oh, people are like, God, she's so crazy. People are just like, look, man, we don't even realize our brain is, or nervous system is flipping into that mode. That's the tricky part. We don't notice. And because we're pretty much lived in this mode most of our lives. And, just by the nature of how tricky the system is, it's just one of the many secrets they don't want you to know about your body, because they want you to get on drugs, and they want you to drink alcohol, and they want you to go to the gym, and they want you to watch Netflix, and they want you to smoke pot, and they want you to, and they want you to get a dog, and they want you to have your time wrapped up in 2 dogs covered with fungus, so you can't even think about yourself anymore. And then they want you to get a cat that has worms, and they don't want you to know that there's buttons and levers in your body that'll just switch you right out of it. I'm thinking, okay, I'm watching the postural restoration gals, put these people on massage tables and just do little manipulations of their body, and then say, okay, go. Or get them off the table and do them a little manipulation of their body and say, okay, go. Where they previously couldn't move their limb a certain way, suddenly they can do it. Suddenly they can do it because the guy spun them around to the left or whatever, and they landed on their left foot. There's buttons in our heels, apparently, ding, that tells our nervous system something quite specific and very strong signal. And our brain's like, yeah, all right. Every time the brain hears it, it's like, yeah, okay. For a little while, before the brain goes, wait a minute, or the nervous system says, wait a minute, that doesn't feel safe. Let's go back to the old way. So what you got to do is just keep tripping that lever if you're stuck in an unhealthy pattern. We just got to keep tripping. Now, the trick is going to a very skilled postural restoration therapist who understands your unique situation. Now, there's simple patterns that most people fall into, and then yours will be a little bit slightly different based on how hard that car hit your car when you were in that accident or whatever it is, And it's similar to me to psychology and the umbrella terms like, all right, that person's got bipolar because they have this symptom and this is that, but no two are alike. So I'm just saying these are words, we're just trying to give an umbrella term to kind of cover an idea of a symptom list where, most of the world that's sold out on the system believes these terms are exactly true by definition when they change every year, every minute is in a year. And it's like, no. We're not saying that these studies and these things that the system has come up with and shown us is void of any value at all. But it's not exact. We just have to just go, oh, well, look what they observed. Now, they also have twisted it and left criteria out so that you're confused. So you just have to look at it and say, I see how that, you know what I'm saying? You got to take it with and run it through your system of evaluation rather than take every single expert's word for what they're saying, because I thought I knew stuff like absolutely across the board because it worked so well for me. And then you go to the next person and it did nothing for them. In fact, made them worse. So it's like, that's why I think we're different species. Anyway, but we know the blood type has something to do with it. But at any rate, what I'm saying is let's take it easy on ourselves and realize that, you know what, there's secrets that we have not yet learned. There's buttons and levers in our body that can alleviate not only bodily locked up, uncomfortable postural positions, but it's intrinsically connected to our emotional, mental state, our psychological state. It is truly enmeshed, and that's not a bad thing. It's not. The fact that, you know, Lenny's back is locked up and his shoulder and his elbows are cocked back and his shoulders are forward. Now, this indicates this man's been running around in fight or flight, which has been fight because he ain't flighting nowhere, for years. But he didn't know. He didn't know. He has grown accustomed to working, operating in that system, but he's exhausted at 63. He's exhausted, and he finally learned about this and says, oh my goodness. Wow. And I'm saying, yeah, let's get the blue blockers, babe. We're going to get the orange glasses. I believe that his thyroid is whack. His hair is so thin, it's bizarre. It's not male pattern baldness. It's bizarre. It's been like that for years. I'm a hairdresser by trade, and when I worked on people that were on nuclear subs, they were all on Synthroid, and all their hair was like this. Lenny was never in the military, never worked on a nuclear sub, but he worked at Westinghouse for many years, and I'm thinking, Westinghouse is the one that had the nuclear whatever, the bottom generator or whatever in Fukushima? And I'm saying, did Lenny work right next to this nuclear trash at Westinghouse in Baltimore, Maryland for those years, and it set into his thyroid and fucked him up, and he worked night shift, slept in a basement in the pitch dark during the day with pillows blocking out the light of the window, would get up in the evening, go to work, artificial light pollution, not enough, not even nowhere near, no kind of schedule of daylight, dawn, any of this going on in his body for 30, 40 years. And the potential exposure to radioactive, whatever the hell's going on over at Westinghouse, or what was Westinghouse, which is now, oh God, what did they change their name to? I can't remember. At any rate, yeah. So I'm going, oh, and he's been on Lugol's for a while. I don't think he's taken them, I'll tell you the truth. But the blue blockers are going to come, and he's going to get like hella strict. And we're going to see the postural specialist we're going to call in a little while and get an appointment with one of them. We're going to talk to two of them in the D.C. area. And I'm waiting on my splint for my mouth. That's because that's a postural restoration thing. I'm going to talk to my when I get the restoration dentist, the postural restoration dentist, integrative dentist. We're gonna work it all out. And my chiropractor is going to be like, oh, I'm certain that he's aware of this by now, and he's going to be implementing. I mean, you know, come on, Dr. Brenner's on. Come on, man, he is a genius. All he needs to know is a little bit, and he's going to go, you know, so hopefully he already knows, and it's like, yeah. Hopefully when I talk to him, he's going to be like, oh my God, I've been learning about it too, Karen, where let's go. I'm ready to be a poster child for this project of postural restoration. All I've got is basic. I don't have a very serious postural problem. I got some kind of thing going over on the shoulder. Got a little bit of hip thing. Not serious. Lenny's is more serious. All right. Let us release the trauma from our bodies. Learn where these levers and buttons are. And learn how to start turning off our parasympathetic nervous system when it's in fight or flight. Let's practice doing it while we're all looking for postural restoration people in our area, or techniques that we could use, because they're all over. It's all over YouTube, and we can figure out what it is that we can do to help ourselves bring ourselves into a more stronger mental state and our body's functioning so that we can make the decisions that we want to make. Because when we're stuck in fight or flight, how can we consistently make the right decisions for ourselves when we're in panic mode without even realizing it? And it is not anything, it has nothing to do with character or the strength of your moral character. This is something going on behind the scenes in our body that we were not made aware of. In fact, they are downplaying it. They don't want us to know that we're in this state of mind. They want us to think it's our fault. We're just immature. Really? When actually, if you were to do a brain scan, we're like at all times, but look perfectly calm on the surface. That's called a lot of maturity. That's called a lot of self-control, because our parasympathetic nervous system is losing its fucking mind, and we look like we got our shit together on the surface. So I think we need to stop beating ourselves up and thinking to ourselves, you know what, we're doing far better than they told us we were, them people. Let's find out where our buttons are, and we can dial our own self in and out of our whatever we want to feel like, instead of them controlling everything by lack of knowledge. My people suffer for lack of knowledge.